Shalom creators, I would like to welcome my new subscribers and everyone viewing my channel, The Spiritual Alchemist and Temperament Therapist. Today we have Benny with us. Benny is a toy poodle. We're just babysitting him for the weekend. But it's so wonderful to have Benny. He is sunshine. He is lovable. He is comforting. You should get one. I should get one. I'm so in love with this dog. So Benny, say hi to everybody. Benny means blessings in French, and he is such a blessing. So for all you animal lovers, Benny is saying hi. Thank you. I would like to thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Making these videos was my instruction from Father, Jesus, Yeshua, Source, or Creator, and I'm happy to be obedient. If my messages resonate with you, thank you for sharing with like-minded individuals. Also, thanks to all of you who have purchased my amazing book, Temperament, Your Spiritual DNA. The link to purchase is in the description box below. I will also be featuring an article on the uniqueness of temperament therapy on my blog this week, so be sure to check it out. Now here's my message entitled, Why Jews Are Wealthier Than Christians. I have always felt there were secrets in this world I wasn't privy to. I felt there was more to know, there was more to know and more to understand. As my evolution progressed, I realized the thing that we are curious about early in life is an indication of where our journey will unfold or our path will take us. Several things happened to open my eyes. In the 6th grade, while walking home one day, I heard a voice that said, "This world is just a stage. We must pass the test." This was the beginning of my openness to spiritual interest. An NAACP commercial saying a mind is a terrible thing to waste sparked my interest in psychological wisdom and mind mastery. Another eye-opener was in my first year of college. I was a psychology major, and my curiosity was piqued when I learned of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and at the top of the pyramid was self-actualization. It was so astonishing to me. From that day, I knew the concept of self-actualization would be my focus going forward. But at 18, I just didn't know how. Like most psychologists, Maslow's answers was an external one. This was why, unlike temperament therapy, most counseling is long-term and not holistic enough for mind and behavioral changes. Through my journey, I know we can never reach self-realization without going to the kingdom within. For life to be successful, it must be lived from the inside out. Discovering that Jesus was a Jew and not a Christian, that only 9.5 days of his life and ministry were recorded in the New Testament, changed my life forever. It sent me on a journey to find the Jewish part of myself. When I realized there were 18 years missing from Yeshua's life, and that the Catholic Church have these lost years in the lost books that are mentioned in the biblical text but were intentionally excluded, I couldn't understand why pastors didn't do more to get them back. How can you call yourself Judeo-Christians and never tap into the Judeo aspect of it? I used to think it was all the preachers' fault for not finding and preaching the lost books of the Bible, as many are readily available free online. Then I had an epiphany that it's the people in the pews that don't want to learn anything new. But why? Because they don't want to hear about taking more responsibility for their spiritual lives. Christians know there's more to learn. After all, Yeshua said we will do greater works than he did. But people have an unconscious way of acquiring knowledge to produce the greater works. Perhaps it's because they don't know anyone who has done it. And with half their identity missing, this knowledge will continue to bypass them. They are happy with the Jesus will fix it bumper sticker mentality, even though it's not producing for them like it was intended to. Now, the Bible was edited by Constantine, the Roman Emperor, in 321 AD to make us feel we had to be dependent upon religion, starting with the Roman Catholic religion. The truth of the matter is that the Creator wants us to be higher self-dependent, depending on Him alone and the kingdom within us. There are over 4,000 sects of Christianity, and each one thinks they are more accurate than the others. But they only have 9.5 days of Jesus' life and ministry in the New Testament to work with. So what are they preaching? Then I discovered that Jesus was not a Christian and what that really means. He was a card-carrying Jew. However, he was our example. He observed the Sabbath, the feast days of the Lord, and Hanukkah, to name a few. These were some of the holy days that were forbidden by Constantine and continue to be dismissed by pastors today because they were never taught to honor the Judaism and Christianity. Constantine wanted to have his own religion, so he brought all the pagan religions in his kingdom together under one umbrella and called it Christianity. Constantine ordered everyone to worship on Sunday, not Saturday, because he wanted his religion to be different from the Jews. Christians were never encouraged to practice Judaism. We thought we worshiped on Sunday because Jesus was resurrected early Sunday morning, or so we were told, the first day of the week, or the Lord's Day, a name given by Constantine. But Jews in the first century knew Yeshua was crucified on a Wednesday, not a Friday, and resurrected on a Saturday, not a Sunday. You can't get 72 hours from Friday evening to Sunday morning. Right, Benny? This deception has changed Christianity from powerful to powerless because days, times, seasons, and numbers are of the utmost importance to the Creator. The seventh day was called the day of teaching and miracles. It's an ordained window of time, and those who honor the seventh day with understanding will be rich. They will experience happiness, prosperity, and supernatural intervention. This is the ancient wisdom. However, this does not apply to other religions who worship on Saturday without the Jewish understanding of the power that is given to those who honor it with true Sabbath consciousness. We must rightly divide the word of truth. The biblical text seems to contradict itself when it's seen from denominational perspectives like Baptist, Methodist, Lutheran, and Catholic eyes, to name a few. But to understand the biblical text, you must read it through Jewish eyes and Jewish perspective. The Bible was written by Jews, for Jews in the first century. It was not written for Christians. Christianity came about 321 years after the death of Yeshua. So why are Jews wealthier than Christians? Because they have consistently believed as a sole group that they should be rich, because of the promise of God to them as Abraham's seed. Christians spend most of their lives trying to accept the reality that Jesus really was rich, and they should be also. Many have taken a vow of poverty without realizing it. Sometimes it's called socialism. Others have the just enough mentality. However, none of these are spiritually based and cannot produce an abundant life. So much distorted beliefs in so many sects of Christianity has destroyed life-changing knowledge and left members thinking there's nothing else to cling to, a dependency upon otherness, like their college degrees or the government. It's impossible for you to do the greater works if you denounce your Jewish heritage. Most Jews cannot do the greater works because they have denied Yeshua as Messiah. Jesus said if you believe on him, you will do the greater works. But that's going to be impossible if you don't seek the rest of the story. I've known Jews that didn't know anything about what I'm talking about. Now, this doesn't apply to every Jewish person, just the ones that understand the teachings of the first century when Jesus walked the earth. More and more Jews are becoming Jews for Jesus. However, Jews will never denounce Judaism for Christianity because Christianity came out of Judaism. Judaism is the mother of Christianity. Judaism is much purer than Christianity because their teachings through the centuries have not been edited like Christianity, which has over 4,000 sects, and it is a much younger religion. Christians are Jews, but were never taught to accept it. If your God is a Jew, that automatically makes you one. However, like everything else, you have to study with Jewish scholars and study Jewish commentaries like the Mishnah to show the universe you are serious about learning the truth about the original Bible and your true identity. This will change the pathways in your brain, and your subconscious mind will read it as your intention is to become more of your true self. This, creators, is the road to self-actualization. If you are a Christian in America today, you probably know very little about God. People think his name is Jesus, but there was no one named Jesus in the first century. Jesus is a Latin name given by the Catholic Church, and unless you know your God, you cannot do great exploits. Christians think their God is a God of violence, but he is not. He is a God of love. The text has been edited. Jews know what days are important to their prosperity. They understand the portal and the appointed times through which God answers prayer. They understand that the Creator opens the windows of heaven on the seventh day to those with understanding. They know that 3 times a year they are to bring the offering that is guaranteed to prosper them for that year. That is at Passover, which releases the 30-fold blessing. Christians call this time Easter, which is based on Ishtar, the goddess of fertility, symbolized by the rabbit. It has nothing to do with Jesus. This is paganism coming through from Constantine. The next offering is Pentecost, which is 50 days after Passover. This releases the 60-fold blessing. The next offering is at Yom Kippur, the Jewish New Year. This releases the 100-fold blessing. Jews understand these secrets of the ages. That's why they are wealthy. Dr. Mike Murdoch once said that 97% of the wealth is in the hands of 3% of the people who write the vision. Jews wrote the book on writing the vision. It's called Habakkuk. Another reason why they are among the 3% richest people. Christians, on the other hand, believe Pastor's anniversary, Women's Day, and Men's Day offerings will have the same powerful effect. But there's no scriptural reward for bringing offerings on other days because it's just not written. Easter and Christmas are the days when the church is in overflow. However, Easter has nothing to do with the resurrection of Jesus, and Christmas has nothing to do with his birth. Jews don't tend sheep in December like the Christmas card implies. Jesus was born on September 11th. NASA has already done the math on this. They followed the star recorded by the wise men and dated this occurrence in the 1st century to this date. That is why America was attacked on 9/11. It was a direct attack on Christianity because the terrorists have done the research that Christians fail to do. They know when your God is a Jew, you are too. Please understand, this message is not a criticism of Christianity, for as a Jewish Christian, I am entitled to be honest about my religion. In this age of Aquarius, the water bearer or the truth bearer, as water symbolizes truth and the word of God, the veil has been lifted and all spiritual and secular truth will come to the forefront. Everything hidden will be revealed. Soon this message will be common knowledge because truth will prevail in this dispensation. There's much more to this message, but in the interest of keeping these videos relatively short, I will do a part 2 in the future if I am so led. Now, for your spiritual and listening pleasure, I would like to blow the shofar, the sound of deliverance for all people. Until next time, this is Benny and I am Dr. Phyllis, wishing you greater love and greater wisdom, and the gold life you so richly deserve. Shalom, creators.